my dears, and welcome back to my corner of the internet. I'm Shannon, and today, well, I've got a video to share with you guys. I don't know what it's going to be called yet, but I knew now was, look at that glare. But I knew now was the time to start filming it. So I picked up this book in the spring, A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. I think in March or April, I was in the city one day with my sister, saw it in the bookstore, and I was like, I've heard rumblings about this. People talking about how like catastrophically upsetting it is, in like an emotional, sad sort of way. And well, I mean, you guys know, I love a good sad story. If a book can really just get under my skin in that kind of way, I think it's great. Anyway, about a month after I picked it up, because it's long, and I'm reading a ton of books here, spoiler-free early reviews, things like that. So I was like, well, now's not the time to start it. Let's wait a bit. Waited about a month. Picked it up. I was going to vlog it. I was like, let's vlog reading this book. I read a few pages, and I just couldn't get into it. So now, here we are, the 20th of September. And I picked it up yesterday, and I was like, okay, let's see if I can get further into it, and I did. I'm on chapter 3. So I got the first 2 chapters read, and I'm into it now. So I thought, okay, what am I going to do with this? I want to do something a little different. So here's what we're going to do. I don't know what this video is called yet. I don't know if I've already mentioned that, but not sure. So what I'm going to do, first I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, and then I'm going to beat it, and I'm going to continue reading. But then I'm going to update you every time I get to a part that needs updating. A particularly sad or poignant part of the book. So is it a reading vlog? I mean, kind of, but I'm just going to be updating you around my house, probably. Anyway, so this book is about a group of 4 friends. We've got Malcolm and JB and Willem and Jude. And from everything I've heard from hearing other people talk about it, Jude is the main character. Although at this part where I am at chapter 3, there's not been any indication of that yet. We're just kind of getting to know all of the guys. And I'm intrigued. You know, they live in New York City. They're in their mid to late 20s. And I believe this book is going to span like decades of their friendship together. All I know so far, like, we're learning more about the three guys, Willem, Malcolm, and JB, and Jude's kind of a mystery at this point. We know that he suffers a great deal of pain, like he's in chronic pain, and his roommate sees that often and knows kind of how to deal with him and when to leave him alone and when to see if he wants help, things like that. So I don't know why he's in pain yet. I don't know anything except from I've spent a little bit of time with these guys, and I'm excited to see where this goes. So without further ado, I'm gonna go read, and I will update you when it feels right to do so. Okay. So it's later the same night as when this intro is from. I didn't think I'd be reading much tonight, but apparently I was. I'm almost to page 180 now. And so we're finally in part 2. And this part so far is from Jude's point of view. Like, we're learning about Jude finally. We're learning about his time at the monastery with the brothers. We learned that he was found when he was a little baby. He was found on a garbage bag, abandoned by his parents, and now he's in this monastery. He's the only child there. Like, they've taken him in, but they're all absolute trash bags. And we're learning, like first of all, look at all, I don't know if you can see that, I've got so many parts marked. But these brothers in the monastery, they are terrible, and they treat him terribly. He's beaten, abused, and it's hinted at this point. We haven't gotten the info, but it's hinted at that the one brother Luke, that he trusts and feels like the most the most camaraderie with, who he feels like has never hurt him and cares for him the most, is now doing something so freaking terrible to him, and we don't know what it is yet, but we know it's happening. And I don't know, you guys. I don't know. Already it's very upsetting. So we're gonna go. I'm not gonna read anymore tonight, I don't think. I think I'm just gonna go to bed. Or I might read some more. Like, I'm fully invested at this point and I can't put it down. But there's just something about this. What is it when the people that are supposed to care for you hurt you? Anyway, we'll see you again soon. All right, I'm not running errands this afternoon, but I had to check in because I just read a really, really beautiful part in this book, and I want to read it to you. Hang on. It's from a chapter, the quote's on page 192. It's from a chapter that's told from Harold's point of view, and Harold is kind of like Jude's mentor in law school. It says, I'm guilty of many things when it comes to him, but sometimes logically I feel guiltiest for this. I opened the van door, I invited him inside, and while I didn't drive it off the road, I instead drove him somewhere bleak and cold and colorless, and left him standing there where I had collected him, the landscape shimmered with color, the sky fizzed with fireworks, and he stood open-mouthed in wonder. All right, hello, it is Sunday evening now. Oh, what's that? Hang on. First of all, before you come for me for the terrible way that passage was highlighted in the last clip, it was because I was trying to highlight it when I was in a moving vehicle because I didn't want to wait and forget, so I was going over bumps. It was a whole thing. All right, so it is raining out. We've got our jammies on. We're having a little glass of wine, and we're reading. I'm about 300 pages in, and my goodness, his friends, like Jude's friends, love him so much. I'm at the part where Malcolm is renovating Jude's apartment, and just the way that Malcolm keeps him in mind and his needs, anticipating needs he's going to have in the future, is just so loving, and I love it so much. Hi there, guys. It is a bright and sunny, beautiful Tuesday morning. I don't even know if you can see me. I'm waiting outside the pool now. I'm to the point in the book where I was just reading it, where Jude has been with Caleb for 3 months, and Caleb's getting on my last nerve. So I hope he doesn't stay with him much longer. But the part in the same chapter, but a few dozen pages before, because the chapters are very long, when Willem is asking Jude if he's ever going to settle down or like try to find someone to be with, a romantic partner, because one of Willem's friends was asking about Jude if he was single. She was interested in him. That part was so heartbreaking when Jude was trying to talk about like why he doesn't see that as a possibility, and he was talking about his body and the deformities. That was heartbreaking. So I was excited for a minute when Caleb showed up, but not anymore. Oh, I just read a bit further. He's now physically abusive as well. No. I just finished the chapter it's Harold. Oh my God. Harold talking about his son, Jacob, and how Jacob died, and then it transitions into Harold finding out what's been going on with Jude and how he's been being beaten and emotionally and physically and every possible way abused by Caleb. And that chapter, because it's Harold, but he's telling this to Willem, like a letter written to Willem. And I feel like I need a nap now. So I just finished part 4, the Axiom of Equality. We got the whole story about what happened with Brother Luke. Part 5's called The Happy Years, so I hope that's not sarcastic. So I just finished the second of 3 chapters that make up the 5th part, The Happy Years, and where unless this 3rd chapter is going to bring it all together, this was incredibly upsetting right from the beginning. What we've got here, the one good thing at the beginning is Willem and Jude become a couple. And, they've loved each other for over 20 years. And Willem starts feeling that maybe it's deeper than friendship. And they're together. But Jude, of course, is so messed up that he can't let him love him. Not really. Jude's continuing to hurt himself. Willem's getting upset. We get the backstory for Jude's accident and this man named Dr. Trailer who ends up holding him hostage in his basement for months. And then once he decides to finally let him go, he sets him free in this field and tells him to run. And then he chases after him in his car. Listen, I'm going to keep reading, obviously. The writing's beautiful. The story, although deeply upsetting, is beautiful in its way. But I wouldn't recommend this to any of you. No. And, there are some books that are really sad and really upsetting that I recommend to people all the time. Like On the Savage Side by Tiffany McDaniel. It's so upsetting, but in a way that is different than this. Just as bad, but different. This is, first of all, so long. So long. I'm about 650 pages in, and it's relentless. It's page after page of trauma. There's no letting up. Which in the Savage Side, on the Savage Side, there's a lot of that too, but it's different. I don't know why it is, but it is. So, maybe this is going to blow me away at the end. Because for On the Savage Side, that's where it took my heart at the end. And I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I'm gobsmacked by how depressing this is. So we're going to finish it. I've got less than 200 pages left. Nope. My little tabs here are falling out. My sweet, happy colored tabs. Lots of them in here. And I like a sad book. I don't mind a depressing book. Get me in my feelings, but I feel like this would be a DNF for a lot of people. Let's see how it goes. I just finished the 3rd and final chapter in The Happy Years, part 5. Absolutely not. Absolutely. All right. Not. I'm finished. I just finished it. I don't know what to tell you. I don't recommend it. I'm glad I read it. It was way too long. It didn't need to be this long. It didn't need to be this long. Not for such a grim message of like hopelessness. Didn't have to be this long. So basically, spoilers here for the end, but there's been spoilers all throughout. So hopefully if you didn't want any spoilers, you've already left. But you know, Willem dies. That was what I was getting at there with that. Absolutely not. He dies in a car accident, and from there, Jude is just devastated, of course. Doesn't know how to carry on, doesn't know what to do. He's losing so much weight, he's getting sicker. And he makes it 3 years after Willem dies, and then he finally ends his own life, which was inevitable. From the beginning, you knew that's where this was headed. It was like, what's going to lead up to it? And basically, it's just he's in his 50s now, and he's too tired. He's too tired to do this anymore. And he just wants to go. And he does it in a very creative way that I've never heard of before. But I don't know what I'm going to rate this. Like I said, I'm glad I read it. Wouldn't recommend it. Unless you want something very bleak. And that's coming from somebody who likes things that are bleak. But there was nothing that... Like, my favorite character in this book is Harold. The only time I got really misty-eyed and cried were the chapters from Harold's point of view. Jude, after a while, was just like, let's get on with it then, I guess. If you're gonna do it, just do it. Because, like, you got this man who went through unspeakable trauma as a child and as a young man. Unspeakable. But he's doing nothing to try to help himself. Nothing. And, like, you know, he's handsome. He's successful. He's rich. He could afford the best treatments in the world to try. And, like, you're trying to tell me that when he was young, and he would get rescued from very terrible situations, whether it was the whole Brother Luke thing at the motel, when the police get him from there, or the Dr. Trailer thing, when they get him from the field. You're trying to tell me nobody offered this child, like, nobody put this child in, therapy? Nobody. Like, because I would assume social services were involved. Nobody thought to get this child a therapist to try to give him some sort of chance at life? Are you kidding? I don't know. He had people that loved him so much. His friends. Willem could not have loved him more. Harold? I don't know. I don't know what to rate it. I don't know. Maybe and like, why is it so long? It doesn't need to be this long. Like, it could have maxed out at 500 pages. Doesn't need to be 800 plus pages. Anyway, that said, I appreciate the effort. Like, the book is well written. It's beautiful in parts. The writing is beautiful, but it's too much. You're doing too much, in my opinion. But I know it's very beloved. Some people love it, and I don't know why it didn't work for me. I don't know why. I don't know. But here we are. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Somewhere in the middle? I would love to know. Yeah. Also, in the comments, leave, what's the saddest book you've ever read that you loved? Like, for me, as previously mentioned, On the Savage Side by Tiffany McDaniel. That book is so brutal and grim and brutal and violent, but it's also so loving and beautiful. and it's so good and it works so well, and I loved it. So tell me your favorite sad books that you loved. Like, I'm talking the saddest book you've ever read. Okay. I'm going to go put this on the shelf. Glad to be done with it. But again, also glad that I read it. And, I don't know, go take a nap. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. And I will see you again really soon. Bye.